everyone that is joining us live and will be joining us live or after the recording also. Today we are going to be talking about magnet gels, and welcome to our very first of hopefully a very long run live on YouTube. This is kind of something new for me. I have gone live on YouTube a couple of times, but this is something a little bit more consistent that we're looking forward to doing. And just a little bit of getting content to you faster versus like trying to record something and putting it all together. It's just time consuming and I have a lot of topics to talk about, and if I figured if editing was getting in the way, then we gotta get rid of the editing and just kind of come on live. So I hope you enjoy these kind of experiences with me, and you can look forward to this every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So that's 7 p.m. Eastern, and that is going to be again every Thursday. And the topics are going to range from application, nail art, tips and tricks, business, things like that. Hi, Katie. Well, thank you for joining us. So again, welcome if you are joining live, or if you will join us live in a moment, or if you will catch the replay. I keep saying that, but if you're going to catch the replay, so this video will be out. So I want to talk about magnet gels, and magnet gels is this thing that can be kind of intimidating, and they look a little easier than others, right? Some look easier than others. So first things first, let's talk about color ingredients in the gel. So let's just say color magnet powder. Let's talk about size in the powder also. So what you'll see a lot in social media is gels that have magnet particles in them, and they're not all created the same. In other words, some are going to look more silvery, some are going to look more white, and there are some that are going to look colorful. So what you get is just a matter of what you decide to buy. Hi, Chael, if I'm saying that right. Welcome, Kathy. Hey. So yes, so what you're looking for is what powder, what's the color of the powder, the magnet powder in the gel. So again, if you ever go on Instagram or any social media, or even on YouTube, and you see nails that are magnet and you're wondering like, oh, what's that, right? Ask yourself first, what color of magnet powder is in that gel? If you don't know, or it's not written in the description, definitely feel free to contact the manufacturer or the distributor and find out before you invest your money in it. So the more common powders inside a magnet gel are going to be gray or silver. Then it's going to be like a white kind of powder, and then you're going to have a variation, and some of these are going to be different color, or actually the gel is going to be different color. So it can either be like a white or a silver powder in there, and then the gel itself is going to be something different, or it's going to be offered in different shades. And that's the case for something like, here I have like the Leafgel kind. Now, I don't know if you can see them, but it's more like a silvery powder in there, but the tint of the gel is what's different, and it's what's going to give you a different effect for that gel, okay? But the particle is going to be the same. Again, I'm gonna guess these are more silvery, okay? Now, also, so we have color of the magnet powder inside the gel. If you ever wanna know how to get an effect, or what magnet gel is this, you wanna get it in compared to another brand, ask what color of the magnet gel is from that distributor or that manufacturer. Hi, Felicia. Oh, lots of familiar faces. Okay, and the other thing you want to consider when shopping for magnet gel is also the size of the powder. That's very important, because I want to say that earlier versions of magnet gel, so like we used to know magnet gel as cat eye gel, those earlier versions, I want to say had bigger particle of magnet powder in them. And so they were cool and they were fun, right? Depending on whatever tint of the gel that product was. But it just kind of gave us the same effect, right? Now we have things that look kind of like watery eyes. It's not just that cat eye effect. Some look more like satin. Some look like ice, right? Like we're getting kind of like an advanced technology in magnet gels. And that is the case in another brand here. For example, ones that are going to look very satin or velvety are going to be these Water Magnet by Kokoist. And in fact, they're called Water Magnet. I'll show you an example, because when you see it, that gel looks kind of like very reflective, very smooth, kind of like watery eyes, right? Like that glow or that glisten, that sparkle in the eye when, you know, eyes can be watery. But obviously these are like pigmented, so you will have different variations of that Water Magnet. Very beautiful. And the particle in this is very small, okay? Very small. And I want to say that even the powder might be either white, but for sure very, very small. And that's what gives it that very glowy, glistening, sparkle, twinkle kind of effect. Okay, so these are beautiful. This is by, again, Kokoist. These are called the Water Magnet gels. Maybe I will show you a few samples of each collection that I have here. And the other one that I told you about, again, smooth, is called Satin Magnet. I'm going to say that both of these, the satin and the water collection, there we go, are the same particle, tiny particle. It's just a different color variation. And so these are going to be more of the water tones, so from the water collection. And then the other ones are going to be more of the shades that will create satin, like a neutral satin tone, like so, okay? Whereas the Leafgel ones, they also call that collection by what it's supposed to be. And if you notice here, these are called Veil. So they're like the Veil collection, like a veil, because it's kind of, again, that white small particle there. Very tiny particle. Again, I'm going to show you some demos on all of them. What I want you to focus on, the 2 points when you're shopping for magnet gel, are the color of the magnet powder inside that gel, and then the size of the powder, because that's going to make a difference. And I want to say that right now what's trendy, what's very popular, what you see on social media, is that smaller magnet particle size, just giving us a very glowy magnet nail. Okay. And other than that, brands would just kind of host or release different collections to give you more color options based on those 2 characteristics. Okay, so we're going to jump into some fun stuff, and we are going to start practicing our magnet gel. When you use your magnet gel, it just depends on the consistency of the formula, but I want to say that for most of the times you are going to be doing 2 coats. When you are practicing, thinking of our last week's class, we talked about magnet gels, and Katie Masters, she reminded me of something not to do when you're practicing. So when you are practicing on tips, you don't want to practice with the little tip holder that has the magnet on it, because that magnet is going to interfere with the magnet that you are going to be using. Okay, so keep that in mind when you are swatching, when you are practicing. Don't use tips or tip holders like so. Let me give you an example so that you can see. Like this. Don't use the tip holders because they have a magnet, and that's going to interfere with the magnet work that you are doing or trying to achieve. Sounds good? Alrighty. Now the other thing I want to talk about, so we talked about color of the magnet powder and size of the magnet powder, is the actual magnet themselves, right? And these are all a little bit different. Nowadays, what we want is like a high power magnet. And the brand that you're shopping from should tell you most likely, like, okay, this is a high power magnet and whatnot. I'll give you some examples here. I have to keep them separate because they just like to collide into each other. Magnets are actually a very gentle, almost fragile thing. You don't want to constantly be like jamming them against each other. Or also, if your magnet takes a fall, then it actually can interrupt the magnet activity within the magnet. So they're a very gentle thing that you should, when you're done with it, find a place where it's going to live. So I'll show you this here. This is the one by Kokoist. This is a long one. This helps a lot, not only the size to make it like a high power magnet, but it helps also to work on long nails, right? So if you're ever working with this one here, which was the more common one, you know, when nails got a little bit long, that was an issue. Also, we'll talk about this one, but there's a few other little things with this one, but let me stay on track with this one. So this one is going to help you with long nails. It's also a high power magnet, and it's just very like user friendly. Kokoist sells these caps here. And as you guys know, that the brands that I work with, I am an affiliate for. So anything that you see, you can save 10% with my affiliate code PPN10. So Kokoist has these caps here that is for their brushes, but they do this little nifty trick of putting the magnet in there to just keep it, you know, safeguarded, safe, keep it, store it for later use. And also when you are using it, you can just kind of put it in there and it just makes it easy to hold, okay? That's one type of magnet. This one is very good. I do enjoy using that. Let's talk about the one that's most common here. So this one you will see by many brands, or maybe when you're watching older magnet videos, like one of mine that I already have. I'll go ahead and link it down below if you guys want to learn more about magnets. I did an initial video about it. It's this one here. And actually what people do is pop this magnet out of this insert, and you should be able to just glide it off, because actually that plastic kind of gets in the way. So it wasn't, I don't know, it's not a very, many brands use it. It's not very like ingenious kind of thing, right? It's kind of not the best thing basically to use a magnet with, but it does, again, safeguard it. But when you're using your magnet, you want access to these sides here, okay? The sides. And so when you put it in there, that interferes with it. We don't always want to use the flat side. Actually, I use primarily the side of the magnet. So many times nail techs found themselves popping these out to try to do the work that they needed to do with it. And then if you see, you end up with a little bit of surface area, and we want a lot of surface area when using our magnet. But we're gonna pop this guy in there again. And it's going to give you lines and things and that sort of effect. You can also do like smile lines with this. But here's another little nifty magnet. This one works perfectly just as is, because you're either going to just set it straight on the nail and then push the magnet, or the magnet particle, the magnet gel. And that's it. You really can't pop this one out. So it worked fine on there. So it's not a throwaway. It's not a complete throwaway. There's still room for this. Now there's a really cool one out there, and I really haven't been able to find the answer for this. So if anyone watching now or later knows what this is, feel free please to contribute and help our community. This little magnet here. So I've seen this as a bar, as a bar, like a longer bar, like Leafgel has a longer bar. I haven't been able to get my hands on it. Part of me also says I have enough magnets, right? But we all know that with nail supply, so there's never enough. So there is this thing, and this little beam kind of creates, I've noticed from what I've seen, we'll try it today, creates like this circle, like the gel to kind of pull in a circle. So we're gonna be using that. And then it does have this little smile line magnet thing. Again, I try to read up on it and kind of lurk the accounts of some of my colleagues using it, and I just don't get what it is for. But it just ties in like that. Maybe it's for a nice French smile line to push the magnet on, or maybe it's just to give it a little grip. I don't know. At this point, your guess is as good as mine. It does feel like a high power magnet. Like it just pulls anything right into it that is nearby. All right. So those were the three key players in a good magnet application: color, magnet size, or consideration of magnet gels. Color, magnet size, color in the magnet powder, and then size in the powder, and then the type of magnet that you are using, because you might be wanting to get a particular effect and you might not be able to get it because you're probably using a low power magnet or a magnet that it's not shaped as the initial person creating a design that you saw doing is using. So some things to keep in mind. So with that being said, today we're just going to demo 3 of the gels that I have here. Okay, 3 of the gels that I have here. Let's start with one of these leaf gel ones. Now, I, as an experienced user, I know I kind of want to like stir my gels, and I would recommend that you do the same. So because there is particles in there that might be a little heavier than the gel, potentially, you want to definitely bring them to the top, okay? So bring them to the top, all of your gels. The other thing that I'm going to do is grab a color so that I can paint a clear. Okay, and where did they go? Here we are. So these were like some newer releases by Kokoist, and I want to say that these are powder, white powder pigment there. Okay, so what I want you to do is notice that 33 is icy clear water, and then 34 is crystal clear water. So these are clear gel. So these are magnet powder in clear gel. So it's pretty silvery actually. Okay, there you see. I like how my computer does all this. Okay, and then the difference here is the size. So if you're like, what's the difference between icy clear water and then crystal clear water? It's the particle size. So that's what we were talking about. All right. This one's gonna be, you can see the particle a little bigger. So I'm gonna go ahead and now switch cameras for you because we have this really cool thing where we get to do that. And boom, hi everyone. You are getting to see my gross nails, but only if I let you. Okay, so here are the 2 gels that I was speaking of. This is the newest, one of the newest Kokoist release. And again, 33, 34, and it just exemplifies what we were talking about. Magnet particle size matters, and they have 2 offerings here in clear gel. Let me just quickly put on this glove and start showing. All right, so what I want to do is keep my my magnets away. I'm gonna go ahead and start painting on this tip here. And I'm going to bring my unit a little closer. Hopefully it doesn't die on me. Okay, 33, here we go. So 33 should be the thinner magnet size. Let me bring you closer, right about there. And let me see. Okay, and that's going to be the smaller particle size one. And then 34, as you might expect, is going to be the one that is a little bit more big. Okay. Here we are with 33. And I'm going to do 2 coats for opacity, okay? 2 coats for opacity. There. And you can see we're going to start playing with it with our high power magnet here. I'm just going to leave some of it like that and just see what it does. So magnets, you may or may not know, they repel or they attract, right? So you want to find the side that is bringing the magnet towards you or pushing the magnet, depending on what you want it to do. Okay, do you guys see how it collects it here? There it goes. And then it pulls it there. You guys see that? Start seeing a little bit of a glow there. We're gonna increase the effect here by curing curing it and applying another layer. So we're gonna do 33. So again, the magnet is either gonna push the particles in or pull them out. So you just want to find the effect that you want it to do and use the same side of the magnet. So if you use this side, when you go ahead and you turn it on over to this side, you want to use that same side of the magnet, okay? You don't want to switch it because then you're not going to get the effect that you want. And you want to find the strong side of it. So we're going to do that one more time to deepen the effect. Like so. Okay. There we are. Same thing. I'm going to find the strong side of the magnet. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this forward and then bring it like so, and it's going to collect a little bit. Can you guys see that? So it's pushing the magnet, it's going to pull it towards it. Same thing here, it's going to pull it towards it. And then once I get that effect that I want, there we go. Now we're just going to push it forward, push the gel forward. There. And you get that nice little glowy look. So it's pushing the magnet. So that's going to be our thin particle magnet gel. That is once again 33 from Kokoist. The particles are small, they're silver, and it's in a clear gel. This gel does not have any color in it. Now we're gonna do 34, and we're gonna do the same effect, just with the particle size being bigger. Let me see if I can show you side by side without spilling it, or maybe even on a little platter like this. Okay, 33, smaller particle size. Okay, and then 34, bigger particle size. Can you guys see it? This one, this one almost looks like a glitter. See that right there? Almost like a glitter. All right. But yeah, this is how you get that beautiful glowy look. It's particle size, and then knowing what you're doing with your magnet and doing a couple layers also. Okay. So we were looking for the, we kind of waited for the magnet to start pushing the magnet, collecting the magnet and pushing it forward. We switched it over to this side, did the same thing, pushed the magnet forward, and then we just kind of pushed that up a little bit to give us that little glowy effect. All right, on to 34, which is going to be that bigger magnet size. And again, you can kind of see it goes on almost like a glitter, but it is magnet gel. It's on a clear, and it's beautiful just on its own because that silver is quite deep. Okay, and we're gonna do our magnet. So we're gonna find the side that starts moving our particles right there. Now we can press them in. It disappeared on me, but let's see. Okay, so let me use the other side because it didn't push them. I think it pulled them and they just kind of disappeared. So we want to just kind of brush it on again. And let's see. Okay. There we go. Turn the magnet the same size, same side. There we go. Okay, let's see if we can get that effect. There we go. Okay, and then you guys see that right there. You guys see the difference? So this is sort of what's trending right now. The smaller particle size, I don't know why I keep saying side. and this is a little bit bigger. Both are beautiful. It's just a matter of what you want or what collection you are shopping with your magnet gel distributor or manufacturer. Again, this is sort of what's trending now. Okay, so let me go ahead and comb this through again with my brush. And then now let's see what it does when we do our beam, this guy here. Okay, so we're gonna do right here. Once we have control of it, we're gonna part ways with it. And then there we go. And then what I notice people also do is they kind of do this circular thing with it. But I didn't love that. So here, here, and here. You see how it took when I went this way, it actually pushed the magnet forward. You see that? That's beautiful for leaving just like that cuticle area kind of glistening with the glitter. But that's not the effect I want, so let's try this again. Let's try to bring it all together again. And I guess the cool thing about the round is that you don't have to worry about it having sides like the square. Okay, let's see. Sometimes we can get a circle out of it. Not cooperating. Let's brush it up again to solidify our steps in what we're doing here. Okay, activating the gel again. We're not necessarily brushing on more, we're just bringing up the particles again by brushing them through. Okay, here we go. And you want to be generous with your magnet gel. You don't want to just apply it too thin because you might not have enough magnet particles in your gel. Okay, and then from there, that's about it. You don't have to do anything else. You get a little bit of a glowy there just with the beam. Okay, so it's going to be up to you what you want. I'm going to go ahead and cure this. And so just from here sitting with you, what I'm noticing, hi. What I'm noticing is that with the beam, you don't have to worry too much about sides because it's not like a squared side like this. And also you don't have to worry about kind of collecting it in the center like you do with this one. So with this one, you go side and you use the same side and do the side, right? And you do want to pull it away from the nail because you don't want to just pass it over the nail or you're going to shift the gel and the magnet particle. So side, right? One side, bring it out of the way of the nail, using the same side, push those in towards the center, and then you're gonna bring it like so, push them forward, okay? So like this, side to the nail, right? Side. Don't bring it just over like that because then you're gonna mess up the gel. So get it out of view, and then the same side, and then push that gel through. Okay, just to get it. With the beam, I don't have to worry about sides, and it just collects in the middle, and it gives me that glowy, little flashy look, that back and forth flashy look. Okay, I'm gonna take my face off because you see, I get the flashy look. Where are we? Right here. You see that little glowy peekaboo look, like I'm here and I'm not there kind of thing. But now let's try it with what we were doing earlier with the rectangular magnet, which I actually kind of liked a little bit more. So now we're going to double up on the coat. Doubling up on the coat after it's cured just obviously intensifies the effect, which is what we want. So we're going to find a side. There it is. It's starting to push. We want the strong side that starts pushing and collecting in the center. Very good. Right there. And then we're going to push them forward a little bit. There we go. Until we get like a little circular. Okay. And there we go. There's that effect. You guys see that? And you can keep going with the same side just to kind of reset it all if you want to start over. And there. Okay, collect it. Boom. That bigger magnet particle side. It's just a matter again of what you want. try it, because it is clear gel, you can try it over a few different colors. You can decide what you prefer. Okay, I'm just going to solidify my design, and then I'm going to cure it. Now, if you're like me, where you're like, okay, it's there, but it's not there, no worries. Just with your brush, come through and brush that up again. Nothing happens to the design, or to the gel, I should say. And then find your side again. There. Bring it the other way. And then push it through. Until you are happy. I think for me, the other one is the clear winner. Let's see. All right, so now let's try some that are pigmented, because you're probably suffering with white on white. All right, let's try this violet one. And why don't we try this one here, these two. And yeah, feel free to ask any questions in the chat while we're live. That's one beauty of being live. And we'll wrap this magnet little tutorial class for today. So Katie says, if we put the magnet gel over color, would we do 2 coats of color plus 2 coats of magnet gel? No. So usually when you're working with a highly pigmented gel, a quality gel, especially nowadays, you only need 1 coat of the color when you're working with nail art. This is like, for me, no pun intended, a clear winner, right? I like this effect so much more, but your client might want something more glittery. I mean, clients love glitter. So just present, I would swatch both of them for them and just present both options to them. All right, let's do 2 with color, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use this Kokoist magnet gel with the pigment. So yes, for nails, like on myself or a client, I would do color, 1 coat of color, very pigmented color, and then 2 coats of the magnet gel. So I'm using here number 29 by Kokoist. This, I don't know if you can guess, but it's going to be a small particle magnet gel, because you can hardly see it. You see? So I'm gonna go ahead and use this one here. There it is. Wow. I see it. So easy. Well, it's a little bit translucent, but when we deepen it up with the second layer, there we go. Push it forward. There we go. There it is, our beam. You guys see that? Dun. Keep it straight. Okay. And like so. Very cool effect. I'm going to go ahead and cure it. And so that is a small effect. I have a feeling, let's see. No, this is going to be different. This is going to be a bigger particle size on this one. You can actually see it. As soon as you open it, you're like, oh, bigger particle size. So it should be, right now what we're doing, it should be the case of like bigger particle size, smaller particle size with 29. So it's kind of like this, but now we have pigment in our gel color. All right, let's see how this is going along. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, look at that. Okay, so we're gonna deepen that effect with another coat. And you wanna be generous with this, so you wanna apply it not thick, just enough to get some particles in there. If it's too thin, you might not get enough particles in there moving. Let's try the beam. Let's see if the beam does anything. Well, we know what the beam does now. You don't have to worry about sides with the beam necessarily. Right, like that, like that, and there it goes. It lights it up. And then we can kind of loose it too. If we put it over there, you can see the magnet is from the prior gel coat underneath. And I'm guessing also you can probably switch sides on the magnet. Like if this one's giving you grief or something, you can go this way. Let's see. Oh, got it. I think I also just found out what the magnet is for. It's basically like a, I think I literally just figured it out. So it's like a placeholder. For example, this side is attracting, right? So it's pulling, right? Because it attaches like that. When you try to flip it, this side is repelling. So this is, let's see. It's repelling, so it's going to push the magnet forward because it's pushing. Let's see. So it's like a placeholder just to let you know what the magnet is going to do. Okay, and then there you go. So it's not as intense. The other thing that can happen with your magnet gel is that you wait too long and then the particles just kind of fall down to the nail. So gravity pulls them down and they're not as active. So now we're doing, we're finding the side for the magnet that works. And then also it comes with this little side. Let's see what this does. Okay, okay. Again, it could just help you see where that gel, the magnet, is it repelling? Is it pushing? So anyways, just kind of experimenting here. Okay, I don't love that. The beam is kind of driving me a little mad. I don't love the beam right now. I'm sure it's probably, once you figure it out, it's like fantastic. But easy peasy is for me this one. There we go. We see it. Use this side now to see it. We want it pushing the particles to the center. And then we are going to bring them to the center like so. Okay, right there. And that is just beautiful on its own. So this gel is highly pigmented now. So much so that you cannot see the particle because the particle is small. Highly pigmented gel with the particle being small. Okay, keep that in mind when you're shopping for like the water magnet, and I want to say even the satin magnet. Okay, so small particle, yeah, you see, and highly pigmented. And you have to decide, is that what you want? For example, is this what you want, or do you want something like this? I think this right now, this is probably going to last for a little longer. All right, so that beam was driving me a little bit mad. Still kind of like have to work with it. I mean, it still does the same thing, right? Like repel and push, or attract. And right now, when we're working with the magnet gel, we want to collect it and then push it through. Push it through this, and then we just push it through up there. All right, so that's that beautiful pigmented one there. All right, so now let's do one that's not highly pigmented, this brown veil, and whose particle is a little bit more like that. Let's try that. Grab this. And again, be generous with your gel so that you get good movement. And you want to do 2 coats after curing in between each. So here we have this. You guys see the resemblance? Right? All right. And we're going to take my easy to figure out magnet here. Okay, I see it moving. It's pushing the particles towards the center. Pushing the particles towards the center. Now, if they disappear like they did on me right now, then I may want to use the other side. Now, they do mark the magnets. Like you could mark your magnets, but I feel like they switch sides, like they reset. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's been my experience. Like they reset. Okay, there's this side. Okay, there we go, pushing it to the center. And this one washes it out, so I need to find the other side one more time. I'm just gonna comb it through to start over. So I am here pushing them. Pushing them to the center. Now they're in the center collected. And now I'm going to use that same side. And there it is. You guys see that? Beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and cure that. So I'll tell you what I did. So I'm remembering that it's on this side with the Kokoist brand. I'm going to take the nail, push it, and then just bring my magnet close to it so that it pushes the magnets towards the center. Once I see them lined up in the center, I'm going to use the same side of the magnet, right? I'm staying with this side up, same side, and then I'm going to push them in the center. Once I see them nice and center evenly, then I'm going to use the same side of the magnet, still facing up this side, and I'm just going to bring them, and it's going to give me that circular glow. Sounds good? We want to intensify the effect, so I'm going to do it one more time, but look at us. This gel is more translucent, right? And then this gel is more pigmented. This particle is bigger. This magnet particle is smaller. Okay, one more coat. All right, and we'll do this one, and it will conclude our live session on magnet gels. If you have any questions, now is the time to pop them in the chat. Otherwise, I'll give you some announcements. And if you like anything that you saw today, you can just use PPN10 with any one of the brands that I use, and you'll be able to save 10%. And it also supports this channel and, you know, my time for coming on live, which I look forward to now. Now I'm gonna go ahead and keep it on the same side, side facing forward on the side, like that. Push them up, right there. Turn it over, same side. Hold on, I can do it this way. Same side. It was fighting with me now. Okay, and now I'm going to bring it forward to intensify that effect, okay? It was not as pronounced. I'm going to try one more time. There. And there. Now remember, if the gel, if you feel like it washed it away, then just brush it through one more time. You're not adding more gel, you're just combing it through so that that gel comes back up. So I felt like I washed it away. Let's see. Bring it to the center. Like so. Same side of the magnet. And then just bring it forward to get that effect a little bit more. All right. You guys see that? Okay, gonna go ahead and cure that. And top coat it. And yes, this is a brush cap. So all from Kokoist. So all brands are going to have such variation of magnet gel. So it's going to be, now you know, kind of like the secret, right? It's just the magnet particle size. And then sometimes the color of the magnet powder also, it can be more white than gray. And that can make it look more like this when it's more white. Even though it's still silver, it just reflects a little more white. Because remember, this is unclear. And then the color of the gel is going to affect what we get out of it, okay? Like so. So practice, give it a go, and then see what you create. Swatch these things so that your clients can see what they want, or maybe swatch them for yourself if you're DIY, right? And that is it. So I have some announcements for you. One of them being that, remember, we are doing these lives every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And the other is that we have classes every so often. Most of the times we have some sort of class coming up, or course, or certification. And the one that is coming up now is the Kokoist certification. That's in November 3rd. So if you want to certify in all things Kokoist, especially like the foundation gels, some nail art, then that certification is happening November 3rd. I will go ahead and link you down below to it. In December 1st through 8th, we're hosting the Nail Thought certification. So that's Kokoist bottle gel line. If you're interested in structured overlays with clear or tinted gel, but using bottled product, it's soak off gel, then that certification is happening in December, from December 1st through the 8th. So I'll put both links down below. So the Kokoist certification is now open for enrollment, and the Nail Thought certification will be open for enrollment soon. But I do have the waitlist ready for you if you want to continue receiving updates on that. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. And remember, we are live weekly at 7 p.m. and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.